Most manufacturers lose revenue every day due to the inability to turn around quotes pretty quickly. They have very disconnected channels, whether that's across their reps or their distributors. But most importantly, their sales teams are burdened by admin, right? You're filling out an ERP, you're filling out a CRM, you're filling out a range of things, right? So you have a lot of inconsistent systems within mid-level manufacturers as well as distributors. We founded USL Systems in order to solve that particular problem. We want to build AI-powered revenue infrastructure that you can actually use in your day-to-day life. So today we are going to show you our four different systems, all of them working together as one. We're going to show you our distributor or your partner or your channel portal where your partners, your reps, your distributors can go and get information that they need to close business. We're going to show you our quote desk tool that allows any ISR to be able to turn out a quote in as quick a time as possible. And then we're going to show you our knowledge layer that shows how a few teams can get information from their application engineers, as well as engineers that support them on the inside to make sure they have accurate, verified information. And finally, we are going to show you our revenue intelligence platform that is built for executives to understand what's going on within their business. So we're excited to go through this with you today, and we'll be starting with our first one in a second. So the platform you're looking at here is our channel portal. We built the channel portal especially for manufacturers that actually have a range of people that support them in going to market. So think your reps, think your distributors, think, dealers that sort of work with you in order to get your part numbers, to get data sheets and all of those things. We believe that by making it easier for them to do this, you can actually make it easier for them to do business with you. So what we're going to be demoing right now is what the experience looks like from a distributor side. So in this particular piece, the distributor is going to be able to land on a homepage, and that homepage they can see the quotes that they've requested in the past. You can see your full product catalog, and once you click into this product catalog, it will show you like the 295 parts that we have within, Unified Manufacturing Group. So this portal is owned by the manufacturer. Within this experience, you can go ahead and filter by like, their embedded PCs. You can see the different single board computers they have over here. But more than that, you can see the LCD displays that they have, the LEDs that they have, memory or storage, right? And then when a user is in here and they want to be able to get, let's say, a new memory part, a DDR4, they can go ahead. They know there are 240 available. Maybe they have a customer that's looking for samples of about 10. They can come here to get the price. Once they get the price, they can see like, okay, how many do they want? They actually want 100 because it's just for samples. They put that number in there and they can have a note like, I want to send a quote to a customer. Submit quote request, just like that, they're done. Right now, what this does is that it cuts down the need for maybe having to go to like a product like manager, having to have someone email someone on your team, and all of those different pieces that you have to do before you can actually get a quote in as a distributor. And just in like a few seconds, they've been able to get a quote. They can go right back, they can view all of their quotes, all of the things they've put quotes for, the ones that have been confirmed, and everything in between. So the other cool thing here is that if they want documents for themselves, they want to be able to get documents for their customers, they can come here, they can see application notes, they can download application notes that they want to see. Boom, it shows you what exactly the application note is about, what are the things that are working on here. And these are just samples to show you how UMG does it. If you want to get new data sheets, you can get data sheets for your DDR4, your DDR5, or everything across the board that you have within your company. And then you can look at an overview of like, what are the things that you do? How does our channel partner program work? What are the other things that you might need within your company? So this is how the experience works like for a distributor that is working with you. The second group of people that we've been able to design for, and this is usually unique to, industries like electronics manufacturing or like industrial manufacturing, where you have distributors, but you also have reps, which are manufacturers representatives within different regions. One of the core parts of the work that they have to do is that they have to be able to register designs or things that they're doing within, the businesses or within the space that they're working or within their particular location. One of the things that we've been able to do within this portal is that we actually make it possible for a customer or for you to, as a rep, to register a design for a customer. What the experience looks like is that you can pick, okay, which particular product is it? Is it an LCD display? Which part number? Let's say it's a 5-inch PCAP. The end customer, what's a good end customer? Let's say we're using, let's say, med tech company. I'm just making this up. And then you provide more information about their country, where they're located. They're located in the US. The end is just going to be like medical markets. Limited annual units, let's say about 10,000 units. Designing timeline, maybe in the next 6 to 12 months, and then you can add any notes. And as a rep, you can go ahead and submit that registration, and that records that for you. So once you come here, you can see, you have a design registration that's pending. That way, the manufacturer can lock in a price for you, can also lock in, a part number that you can always come here, get it, and you can quote that for your customers whenever you're ready. Same thing with like, with the distributors, you're able to come here, you can find different documents that you might need for whatever you want to send as a rep. And your dashboard also shows you like, the registrations you have pending and all of the things that you need to do within the space. So we've been able to show you what the experience looks like as an external user, whether that's a distributor or a rep, signing up for a registration, trying to find parts and everything. This is what it looks like on the inside. If you're a channel manager, you're a regional salesperson that's actually managing these relationships. So remember, we just sent in a design registration from a rep. And here, as like the channel manager, I can come here and approve it. I can say a note like, let's find time to visit this customer. And then I can go ahead and confirm my approval. And that's done. I can see the approved, displays that I have that I've approved for them. I can also look at my partner network. Who are the people that I have? When was the last time that they logged in? If there are people that have not been active, they've not brought anything, I can reach out to them and be, hey, you haven't been able to reach out. We have like different things that we've set up in this way. You've not met your part of the bargain. Can I have a conversation with them to see how they're doing just generally within their pipeline? So you can see where the design registrations are. You can see the ones that are on hold. And based on, the approval, once things start moving forward, you can go ahead and change, okay, where exactly are we? Have we started? Is this active now? Is it on hold? Is it something that's begun? Something that jumps up within the next 6 to 12 months, you can go ahead, change it to active, write a note, confirm that it's active. And that's pretty much how the experience works. Whereas for quote requests, you can see the last quotes that we sent in as came in, from Apex distributors for a DDR4. I can go ahead and I can click in here. I see that like, hey, they want, 100 for samples. They want to send a quote to a customer. I go ahead, approve it. And the moment I approve it, they'll be able to quote that number for their customer. So same thing here as a channel sales manager, I can go ahead and add more products, or I can add data sheets. I can add information here that is beneficial to my partners and customers as they need it. So this is how it works on the inside. So what we've really done with the channel portal is that we've created a space where manufacturers can collaborate with people external to their team as we sort of build this out internally in a custom way for our customers. We want to make sure we understand what those relationships are, we understand how to make things work, and we'll work with you internally with both your reps, your distributors, and everyone in between to be able to build something that actually works for them. And the goal is that, like, as we go forward, as we collaborate with you, you can keep working on making sure that is better and better and better. For this part of the demo, we are going to be showing you our sales velocity solution. This is actually one of our most powerful tools, and this is actually targeted for mainly inside sales teams as well as for field sales teams that are looking to provide quotes to customers. What we've done is that we've made it possible to connect either your ERP, whether you have CSV files, Excel sheets that contain your product information. We can actually connect it to a solution for you, and we can have you just sort of paste natural language communication, whether that's emails that have details, context, and you can actually find parts that are related to that. We help you build your pricing engine, how you want to set your margins, adjust your margins by selling to a distributor versus selling directly to a customer, and all of those complex things that you currently have to do by hand and fill out in Excel sheets. We now make it possible for you to automate a lot of those processes. And then when we do that, your inside sales people, your field sales people, sales managers have an opportunity to actually look through what has been generated to make sure this is completely correct. So we're actually going to show you what this view looks like when you embed it in your website. So right now you might have a website that says request a quote. So once a user clicks request a quote, this is the experience they can get. And so we'll switch our screen and show you what that experience could be. So if a customer clicks on request a quote, we basically bring them to this unified manufacturing group. This is the customer. This is the manufacturer that's going to be, they want to request something from. They might come here and say they have a request, right? So let's say I have a request. I know who I am. I'm going to just take my request and I'm just going to paste that directly here. I'm describing it directly, right? In this experience, I can then say I need to fill out my contact information so they can get back in touch with me. I can fill out my information. My name is Karen Doyle. I'm from Rockwell Automation. If you know Rockwell Automation, you know the work they do within building industrial systems. And then I can go ahead and request a quote. As soon as I request a quote, what the system does is that it finds information within the context in which I've shared it. And then we parse that into our system to say, okay, are there part numbers that we can find that then align to this system? So I'm going to switch over to the inside salesperson section so you can see what the experience looks like. Now we're on the inside sales section, right? I can come here and I can see, oh, what exactly? Oh, I have a new external request from Rockwell Automation. I open that external request. It shows me what that request was, right? So I'm following up on this conversation we had in the booth. We're planning 2026 production. I want 18,000 units of DDR4 as well as 6,500 units of LPDDR4, right? I can close that and boom, we have it. So we've been able to find a part number that actually matches. So it's like SD RAM, 16 gig industrial temp 3200 DDR4, very similar to what we pulled up here, 18,000 units DDR4, 16 gigabits industrial temp. So we have that mapped correctly. And then we have the other one, which is 8 gig DDR4, LPDDR4. We have that matched almost exactly for 6,500 units, right? So we also do a good job of helping you craft a message so you don't have to come up with that and you can simply just sign it. So here I'm Alex. I can come ahead here and say oh, Alex, you know, then I'll say inside sales, UMG, right? And I can sign that if I want to send it. But these are the other things that we've added that sort of make us pretty special, right? So here, if I want to change this, let's say they only want 1,000 units, right? We can do 1,000 units. And what you notice is that the price here has increased because we've been able to create a thing where for higher prices, you actually get for higher quantities, you get lower pricing because we're able to configure pricing discounts, which I'm going to show you in the other part of this demo. And then maybe if I wanted to increase this to 16,500, I can see that the price of that has dropped. So let's go back to our original pricing, right? 6,500, and I believe they wanted 15,000 units. And then we'll have that. And then I have the message that has been crafted. This is a bracket PO. Want to see what that experience looks like with a PO. I can go ahead here and say preview. And then by previewing, it show you exactly what we are going to be sending. So it's going to come from, it's going to go to Karen, Rockwell Automation, goes directly to our email. And then you can see the quote has been prepared for them already. So this is having 15,000, 6,500, the price of putting together the business. And I come right back here. Was it 6,500? Let me check that. So 6,500. Okay. So now I can go ahead and I can send this proposal directly out to the customer. The other things that we can do here is that if I want more context on the company, I can basically pull the company context. It's going to check whether what their website is, and it's going to provide me information on them. So here, Rockwell designs, manufactures industrial automation based in Wisconsin, Illinois, and we can save them as a customer if we want. If I want to run deeper research on them, I can actually run deeper research that's going to scroll through like what's been in the news about Rockwell. This can also help a salesperson understand what else can they offer to this customer to help them solve the problems that they have. So once they come here, they can send a proposal. There's pricing for every line. There's a buy email. There's a cover note. And we go ahead and we send that proposal out. Perfect. So that's pretty much how the experience works within um, the code desk tool. So there are a few other things that I'll show here where you can see a queue of all the things that you have going on. You can see the ones that are signed, who has uploaded something to you. You can go ahead and review them. We have SLAs that sort of track, hey, we need to check something, we need to fix it. You can see the things that are unassigned, you can see the things that are overdue, and you can sort of, attend to those as need be. And that's what the experience looks like from a salesperson standpoint. So the next things I'm going to show you is just like what it looks like from a channel manager standpoint. They have some specific tooling that allows them to be able to change, how pricing works or what margins are, and I'll demo that in the next few seconds. So now we are currently on the manager experience. So in the manager experience, they also have access to the quote desk. They can do quotes themselves. you know if they want to run a similar code to sort of what we've shown, we could do that. But I think the most important things we want to show for the manager is that we actually have a catalog configuration that actually connects the 295 products that we've shown you earlier. In the distributor portal, you can actually see all of them here and how much they are priced at their cost price, right? So if you want to sync your catalog, if you have an ERP, you can actually connect that, reconnect that, sync it to make sure like everything is updated based on the day that you're doing it. And then if you come here in your pricing configuration, you can set your floor margins. So whenever you're selling embedded computing, the lowest margin you should go for is 9%, LCD displays 10%. So you can set all of those margins ahead of time. You can also set, volume breaks. So if someone is selling, you know, 1,000 to 10,000 units, you want the margin to be at 25%. If it's 1,000 units and above, you want it to be 20%. You can sort of adjust those things as need be. And then if there are specific customers that have overrides in terms of like, oh, we know that we do business with this contract manufacturer, you can give them like a discount where whenever they come in, they have specific price codes set for them, and then you can see all the changes. So anything that has been changed over time, you can sort of track those changes to make sure like you understand that like, hey, this person has sent out a quote for 10%, whereas like we know that we usually want to get it at 20 to 25%. Same thing here. If you want to say like you have a direct margin, you can have distributor margin, you can do all of those things, and you can classify the people that might be requesting things in order to make sure you have that correctly. So this is what the experience looks like. I think what we've done with this particular product is that we've really spent our time to immerse ourselves with our customers to understand like, okay, how is business actually done? The other thing that we're doing here is that while AI does a lot of work, the users do have quite a bit of leeway to be able to change things, to be able to figure out like, okay, what actually works well, what doesn't work well. And then that way they actually have a little bit of control to say like, okay, we want to change something, we want to change pricing, because we know that in the manufacturing business, not everything is cut, paste, and dry. Sometimes you're negotiating different deals with your distributors, you're negotiating different deals with your reps, and all of those things. And we built a system that is flexible enough, right? We've built something that's flexible enough and we can customize and configure that to your specific use case. And that's what makes what we're building over at USL Systems amazing. Yeah, so that's what we've built so far for our sales velocity system. We're going to demo other products and show you how they all connect to the sales velocity system. This is really the core piece of what we're doing. This is one thing that can be external or internal, depending on how you want to use it. But we're hoping that you can gain some knowledge from partnership with us. You can also gain success from partnering with us. One of the other things that we want to point out is that we're showing you what the experience looks like for like a single part number. So we're actually going to spend some time to show you what that looks like if you want to upload like a bill of materials. So you can do that in bulk. So for the bill of materials, what we're going to do here is that we're going to pick a CSV file. Let's find our demo file just so we can show you what the experience looks like. A sales demo, have docs. And so we have a demo bomb that we wanted to show. We open that up. Once we add the bomb, you can add some context right here because you're doing a bomb. You don't need to type anything. You can add maybe some context on the customer if you so wish, what the application is, and then you generate that. So what we do is that we go through the bomb and we sort of match it to part numbers that we can see within our system. And so based on the list, we found like 100% like match for a 4.3-inch display, and we actually have all of these like mapped out. So here they're looking for a custom 7-inch panel. We can't really code custom because custom basically requires us to do something different. So I can come around here, and if I want to find a 7-inch display, I can come here and say 7-inch. So one of the things that we have here is that, we have a custom display. We can't really do a direct code for custom. We'll have to have a different conversation with the customer around that. So I can confirm and generate a proposal. This actually then creates, a listing in our code desk. Basically lists out the parts and then it only quotes the things that we have. And if I want to come here, I can generate a cover note based on the parts that we selected here. And just like that, we have it. If there's a customer name, I can add the customer name. Let's say this is Lisa. Then I can go ahead and send that out. Okay, sales manager, UMG. And then if I wanted, I can add more context on like, the company name, their website. I can add all of those things if I so wish. And then I can preview it. So it lists out all the 6 things I'm going to be sending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quoted. Very straightforward. I have all of that information, and then I can go ahead and send it. But let's say I want to assign it to one of my teammates. I can save it as a draft, and then I can save it to them at a later time. So this is what we've built so far from our code desk tool. I think it's an amazing tool. I think it's super helpful for anyone that wants to speed up their quoting process. And yeah, we're looking to have incredible conversations about what we can build for you and your organization. So thank you, and we'll show you the other solutions in a little bit. This next demo I'm going to show is one that is sort of near and dear to me because it's really focused on understanding what it actually means to move like revenue decisions forward within manufacturers as well as distributors. I started my career as an application engineer where I was supporting over 30 different salespeople, business development people across the US. And one of the core things I had to do was that I had to send emails over and over and over and over. And every lot of times I was answering the same questions multiple times in a day, multiple times in a week. What we've built here with our field knowledge or our field intelligence platform is we built a tool where people can actually come in, ask questions, and then they can get responses from experts. One of the things that actually motivated me to build this particular solution because I understand how core that knowledge sharing and the ability to trust information is within an organization is so important to helping them close deals. So we decided to build this because we believe it's just such an important part of like the revenue cycle within a business. So I'm going to show you like a brief demo on sort of what this experience looks like. So right now we are acting as Alex Rivera. Alex Rivera is a salesperson within Unified Manufacturing Group that we've been using throughout the conversations in this demo. And then I'm going to go ahead and say a customer sent me a message. Can I actually find more information on what the customer wanted, right? In this particular case, I have the customer's question, and then I have the customer's website, which we're just going to paste in here. It's not going to be the exact one, but it's just one that can say, what we need. And then I can say is for a display is the application. So I can go ahead and I can ask my question. So what we do now is that we go through to see are there any verified answers within this particular system that match the question you're asking? Are there part numbers that could answer this question that's been done, right? And so by looking there, we can see that there is actually a part number that could work great, right? So here we have like an IP65 10.1 inch HMI display that actually could work for the work that we want it to do. So if we want to sort of see what that looks like, we can click in here to say like, hey, is this a part number? And boom. So this is Sarah Chen has answered a question from Jordan before. Where like, hey, I need a question in like food processing line. And I can see the part number and I'm like, oh, this is actually similar to something that I've done before. I can go ahead, I can copy this, I can go request a quote within our sales velocity tool, and that's pretty much how you can get answers to questions that have been answered before. Now you don't need to do it again over and over and over and over again, right? So that's for questions that you can see. So you can see that when you answer a question as an expert, you can actually have that information persist over a longer period of time. So while we've shown that our platform or our solution is great for the specific scenario where a question has been answered before, we also have a solution for questions that haven't been answered before and how can we loop the experts in. So in this particular case, we have another question. So this is for Pacific Northwest. They're looking to modernize like their schedule room in their treatment plant, right? So what we can do in this particular experience is that we can go ahead, we can either add some context if we have context that's available, so we are attaching their website right here. We also have the application. They want us to create a um, control room. And we can go ahead and ask that question. So what we do here now is that like we actually go through, we try to see like, has anyone asked for something similar before? Do we have a part number we can suggest? Is this something that's happened? Yes or no? And so we pretty much are able to get a response. So we have our AI generated information. And what we do here is that we actually create a customer profile where we basically give your salesperson context and this is exactly what the organization is. They don't have to go digging before they think about that. To add more context, we take that context each for you. We show you that like, okay, we actually don't have any direct match of anything that has been suggested within our system. But then we actually make it possible for you to now ask that question in a different location, right? So we say continue to channel. Once you click here on continue to channel, it's going to take you to the channel where we can ask display questions. If you want to add context, you can do that, but we actually retain the context from the initial question. And we can go ahead and ask this within the display division. Here you can see we have Sarah Chen, that's a verified expert that should be able to answer your question once you answer it. So you can go ahead and ask that question. So what we do now is that like we're showing you what this experience looks like for a salesperson. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to show you what this experience looks like for an expert. As an expert, you pretty much land on a dashboard. On this dashboard, we show you a few things, right? We show you questions that are unanswered. We show you questions that are sort of pending verifications, maybe questions that have been answered that still need to be verified. We show you how many questions are due for review. These are questions that are older than like, a certain amount of time that you might want to set. The reason why this is important is that you want to actually keep those, you know, um, answers ever fresh. And then the last thing is that we show you like flag AI questions that might be inaccurate and you need to do a little bit more digging to make sure it's correct. So as you can see right here directly in the dashboard, you can see the unanswered question that Alex Rivera asked. You can go answer that question. You also get a notification whenever you're in a different experience saying like, hey, this is something that is available for you to answer. And as an expert, you can do that. You can respond directly from your dashboard, or you go view it in the channel in which it came from. So if you click on view in channel, we're going to take you to the specific post. We're going to give you the customer context and you can answer the question. So for this question, there are two things you can do. You can either type in your response directly, or you can generate an AI draft. This AI draft is going to pull from knowledge that you have, access to documents, data sheets, information, context of the work that you've been doing in your day-to-day life. And then you can say like, okay, I need to, answer a question that can actually help for the things that we want to do. So right now the AI has done a search. It's saying that like, you can suggest a 15.6 inch. As the expert, I look at this response and I can say like, okay, this response is actually accurate as of 2 weeks ago. However, we did release a new 19.0 inch part, and I'm like, okay, this information is incorrect. I do need to make sure I can find the right information. So I can actually type that out and say like, oh, I know we have a 19.0 inch full HD display, and I can paste my response, right? So here I basically say, we do have the actual part number. It's a 19-inch with LVDS. These are the things that it has. I add some information around like the PO they have to draft, how they need to do it to make sure that like it works. And then I can go ahead and post my response. The reason why we built this is because we don't believe AI can do everything, but we do believe that like by having humans in the loop, you can actually get information to be more accurate, more correct, and that way you can increase the trust that your salespeople have within their engineering team and all the things that you want to do within your company. So we like to think of ourselves as we are AI supported and expert verified. So now that as an expert, I've said this is the right answer, I go ahead, I verify this response. That way my salesperson can see that and they can trust that like, hey, this information has been checked by Sarah, it works. And that's pretty much how we can build trust in making sure we can close the deals that we want to close. To tie the loop together, let's go back to Alex that actually asked the question. So now Alex has asked the question. He's going to get a notification that the question he asked has been verified, right? So he asked it about 8 minutes ago. We go in there, we go check, okay, what exactly is the question I asked? What happened? And now I can see here that if I need like a 19-inch LVDS display, I have a part number that I can actually take, and then I can come here directly and I can request a quote if I so choose. I can copy the part number if I want to go quote it within my sales velocity tool that we showed you earlier. And what that experience will look like is that I click here, request quotes. It will take me directly to our sales velocity tool. I can go ahead, put the part number, add more context if I so wish, and then I can generate that information here. And this is what our field knowledge solution looks like, right? So for us, everything that we're doing is really around like, how can it make it possible for manufacturers, distributors to be able to get information, close deals, and create like a holistic loop that allows knowledge to live in perpetuity, especially as we see, people are leaving the industry. There's a lot of people that are retiring. There's a lot of knowledge that's not been transferred. How can we make it easier to retain this knowledge to help customers, but also help the people that are coming after the people that are leaving the industry to be more knowledgeable, help them be more successful, and just really grow the revenue within their businesses. So that's what we're doing. That's what this solution is about, and we're excited to show you our next one. This So what you're looking at here is our final and probably one of our most important pieces. What we do with this solution is the one we call our revenue intelligence. We built this specifically for CEOs, CROs, as well as like, maybe like your head of sales, VP of sales to see like a high level overview of how things are going around or going on within the organization. In this particular instance, right, we're looking at In this particular instance, we are looking at Marcus Chen, who is the CEO over at Unified Manufacturing Group, which is who we've been using the entire time. The reason why we're using them is because all of the things that we've been doing in the previous demos actually accrues to whatever you're seeing on here, right? So in here, we show you a few things. We show you what your quarterly revenue is to date. We show you like how many deals are currently within the pipeline, how accurate are you to your forecast, and then we sort of have a coverage ratio to really show like how much open pipeline is looking versus like your quarter targets. So all of these are pulled directly from the other tools that we showed you. So think our sales velocity tool, our distributor portal, or our channel portal, as well as like, open questions or conversations that are happening within our knowledge or field knowledge tool. So the major thing that you can do here is that you can actually generate like context. So this is maybe an old one that I had the week before. So let's say I come in on Monday, I can actually generate like an AI brief on maybe what's going on in my different pipelines, looking at what's happening within field knowledge, sales velocity to get a better feel for like, okay, what's a summary of what's going on here. So the major things that we can see today is that like LEDs are currently like the sharpest revenue miss this quarter. It's tracking at just 4.6K compared to like the 150K targets. We also have an open Connect question from someone in Apex Partners that's looking for storage products. That deal has been sitting for 41 days and no one has been able to attend to it. And additionally, like, Alex Rivera, who we've been using in previous demos, we say like, oh, he actually has a proposal that's been waiting for 61 days without a response. So this is to give like executives a way to understand how exactly is my pipeline performing, what exactly is going on, what do I need to do, how can I check it. So now I have this brief. I can actually download that brief if I want to use it in a meeting. So that brief is going to come right here. I'm going to open that file, and here you can zoom in and you can see what we have here, right? So we give you like a broad summary, like what was the targets you had for the quarter, how you're performing. You can see how LEDs are trending. We only have $4,600, but then our actual target is 150K, right? So we can actually surface all of that information for you, and then we actually have the executive brief that shows up here. So that's what the experience looks like. But then the other things you can see, if you want to go to your revenue dashboard to see how things are trending, you can see that, okay, LCD displays are doing really good. Embedded computing is also doing really good. You probably got a really big order. And then you can check out like things in detail. If you click in here, you can see which customers actually placed those orders. So you can see Heartland is a dealer in the Midwest. They've actually put in like an order for 3 point something million. Apex about 32,000. So you can actually do a little bit of digging in if you want to learn more over time on what you're looking to do. So this is what you can see from your revenue dashboard. And when you head over to forecast accuracy, sort of how we see that, what's accurate, what's not, you can see like, where your forecast is trending, the actual numbers that you're seeing versus whatever you forecasted. You can see here you're up. You can see how that's changed over the years. Let's just say you hired an incredible salesperson and then they're really pushing the metal on the things that you're doing this particular month of May. Could also be we have been doing a lot of demos and now you can see how that is impacting the numbers that we see here. We still persist the AI brief if you want to see that over here. And that's what the experience might look like for a CEO. We have one more tool within the space that I'll show you, and that's really for CROs that might want to like look closer at their pipeline, who are their top customers, what are the things that are going. And all of this is surfaced directly from the tools that we build across the demos that we showed earlier. As I mentioned, this is the CRO view. With the CRO view, we actually give them insight to see pipeline health. So here they can see their total open pipeline for the quarter, what's forecast and how do you weight that forecast, what's their win rate over the last 90 days, and what's the average coverage ratio. In here, they can see, how much of their pipeline is open versus what's actually closed. And we actually surface all the things that are open. Is it for LCDs? Is it for memory? Who are the salespeople that actually have this? Which ones are unassigned? Which ones need to get assigned? That way we can get that closed. Additionally, we also show them like, okay, these are the things or proposals that are at risk based on how many days they've been open and what do you need to do to close them, right? So if you dig a little bit deeper, you can reach out to the salespeople, you can reach out to sales managers in order to take action on this front. Similarly, you can download a pipeline report if you want to sort of have that as a monthly meeting, and you can show them like, hey, this is actually what's going on. We have about almost 30 million open in our pipeline, or we've only closed like a fixed amount, but we also have a bunch of customers that we've not responded to. There are things that have been open for a long time. Action should be taken on this particular front. So yeah, this is one of our core solutions that we're offering. We believe that by providing this access to CROs, they can actually understand where their revenue is coming from, see what exactly is going on, and look for ways they can improve that system. And all of this, we are going to be making sure that we help track as a company. We will be your partner through the entire process. And that's what USL Systems is about, right? USL Systems is about making sure we are your partner, we are your infrastructure builder to make sure you can get this end-to-end view of how you're generating revenue, how you're solving the problems within your company. And that's really the part that we hope to play. So as you watch these demos, I hope you are interested in our products. I hope you reach out to us if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. If you just want to have a conversation about how we can work with you, please reach out to us. Our website is uslsystems.co. And yeah, excited to work with you all.